Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the daily show. And may the shorts be with you. And of course, we had some bearish news breaking over the weekend. We're going to see how that's going to impact the stock market and also the crypto market. We can make money on the way down as well as on the way up. We're going to check in on our big short two trade. And see how that's going and a whole bunch more. Before we do that, smash the like button. This does help get this channel out to more people, and flood the comment section before those spam bots do. I appreciate all of you who do that. It does help support the channel. And if you're new, welcome to the channel. You can subscribe, hit that bell notification, and you won't miss out on the daily updates. So we're going to jump straight into the news, of course. And may the shorts be with you. There it is there. May the shorts be with you there. And of course, in the news, the big news. Well, first of all, I did give this warning to everybody how the S&P, after it rallies every day like it did during Thanksgiving, has historically always been bearish on the following Monday, one day later from that Friday. And we did see that happen last week. I did also share last week, before the week started, that historically Thanksgiving week was green, and that's exactly what happened. And so those of you who took the trades with me made the money, because you got to risk it for the biscuit, because scared money don't make money, but neither does dumb money. And we gave some great smart entries that made some good money, and we've got some shorts today. As you can see, even 2 days later, it still is a little red, and actually for the entire week after, it historically has been more of a bias towards bearish there. And even 2 weeks later, apart from the last two times that it happened there, it has been red there as well. This is some potentially good news here, because actually the last two times, 2 weeks later, it has been up. So there's just a little bit of a foretaste of what we could see for the week following Thanksgiving. I know that's not what you want to see after you've spent all that money on Black Friday. However, we can make money on the way down. And then, of course, we had the bearish news that about strategy saying they would start to sell if the company's stock falls below their net asset value. They are only 1% away. And I'm reading of falling below the net asset value, and therefore, and this is on top of course, strategy, the potential delisting from the NASDAQ 100. Some of you say, well, they're not getting delisted from the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ 100 and other indices, which could cause a billions of dollars in sell-off there for MicroStrategy, which would make it obviously worse, and Bitcoin is dumping on that news. And so you do see that this is, and I warned everybody about Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy and how they were the biggest liability to Bitcoin. This seems to be the new black swan event for this, because I do believe Bitcoin has historically confirmed gone into a bear market here. Where are all the super cycle folks? They seem to have disappeared. And so let's look at the SPY. We're going to look at Bitcoin. We're going to look at a couple of trades here, but this here is not looking good, that potentially there could be a huge sell-off of Bitcoin from MicroStrategy if the CEO, and you can do your own research on that in regards. Now, some reports are saying that they would have to sell all their Bitcoin. I don't believe that to be true. I think that is fake. They would have to sell some of their Bitcoin to start to pay those dividends there. So danger times on the horizon for Bitcoin and for MicroStrategy there. And of course, let's look at how the SPY is being affected. Down she goes. And that news is not necessarily on MicroStrategy, because MicroStrategy is not on the SPY, but in other news about how Japan's 20-year treasury yield is spiking, and that is historically bearish for the US markets. Now, I don't have the time to go into that. We'll possibly cover that tomorrow, and I will cover that in the Discord there and update in my daily update there. However, that is typically historically bearish for the US stock market when Japan's US treasury yields do spike like that. there. And you can also do your own research there. Just jump into Google and type that in, why that is the case, and that will come up for you. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we came back to the 674 level here. The one concern that I do have is that we needed to get to 686. There is the previous high over here around the 12th of November. And really, otherwise, we're making a lower high there. And I don't really like that. And in the pre-market, that's currently what's happening. You can see there is a high, then there is a lower high, and now potentially this is another lower high. So really, we do need to see what happens. Now, I don't have a problem with coming down to 674 and then coming back up and busting through to 686 there, but that is something, a little bit of a cause for concern, that we got very close to it but just didn't get above, and we've dropped from 683 to 678. So the initial support there is going to be 674. Now, of course, you can put some puts or short the SPY there, and I put out a trade in the Discord there for that. And there's also SPXS, which is the 3x leverage short ETF, and you can actually make money as that goes up. You can see that's up from 35 already up to, sorry, 30, yeah, it's already up this morning from 35 to 36. And there is a key area there of 37. Might be a nice trade to take the 37. It breaks above 37, could continue to ride that to the upside. Remember, when the SPY goes down, SPXS goes up. Let's have a quick look at Bitcoin here, and we are forming a bear flag on the weekly time frame. Now, I had considered that we would come up after bouncing off the 100 EMA on the weekly time frame to come and do a dead cat bounce and hit the 200-day moving average 109. But I did warn that if everybody was thinking that would happen, that may not happen, and maybe we see some more downside because people are panic selling their Bitcoin because they're worried that MicroStrategy is going to fall to pieces, which could potentially happen. Number one is they are only 1% before go below their MNAV, and you can look that up. Again, I'm not going to go in the details here just for the sake of time, why this is important, that they would have to start selling their Bitcoin. And of course, if they get delisted from the NASDAQ 100 and other indices, the MCSI and others, then that could cause a further sell-off of both MicroStrategy and Bitcoin, and just cause a capitulation down much further before we see a dead cat bounce. And it is quite possibly just because we've stopped here at about 85K and then had a dead cat bounce in previous years at the 100, doesn't mean it has to exactly play out. We could, of course, come down to these lower levels before, of 74K or 69K or even 66K here before having a dead cat bounce. I do feel that we will eventually make our way down to the 200-week moving average at some point. It's currently at 56, but it is rising. So it really just depends how long it takes to get down there. And yes, usually it does go a little bit below that as well, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Down to that 200 week. And just remember, Bitcoin historically has never made a new all-time high after losing the 50-week moving average, and that was lost all the way back up here at around 102,000 without first retesting here. So if history plays out, we come down, retest here, that's the bottom of the bear market, and then we go up and make a new all-time high, probably sometime in 2027, I would expect. And if this bear market is accelerated, which it seems to be, maybe we can make a new all-time high in 2026. We'll have to see there. And so that's how the Bitcoin play is playing out at the moment. Now let's look at, I did a video called The Big Short 2, where I talked about MicroStrategy and the MicroStrategy short, and that is playing out beautifully. Now in the Tribal Trades Discord, I gave an entry for a short on a loss of 240. Here in the on YouTube, I gave it here at 199. Now, if you took either plays, you're beautifully in profit. This is making a bit of a bear flag here, and we're still seeing it go to the downside. I do expect it to get down to at least down to 140, which is the 200-week moving average, and potentially here down to 100 to retest this area that we had all the way back in April when it started to rally, and it will retrace that entire move to the downside. That's what I'm looking for at MicroStrategy at the moment. Now, look, beware, because there are little bounces along the way, guys. You can see here that it hit 300 and bounced up to about 360 before further capitulation there. You can see as it dropped down to 369, it bounced up to 414 before it dropped. So just be aware of these little bounces along the way. Generally, nothing goes down in a straight line, but we are seeing this beautiful short. And all you had to do was take the trade, folks. All you had to do was take the trade. Scared money don't make money. Look at the MicroStrategy short play that I gave you, MSTZ, if you prefer to take the 2x leverage short ETF. I gave this play all the way back around $8. You'd be almost up 100% on this play. This play is absolutely cooking. And I do have some new levels for you for both MicroStrategy and MSTZ today. Let's go to the Tribal Trades Discord. First of all, I want to show you the crypto play that I gave, a short entry for the loss of 488. I shared down here, if history repeats, Zcash parabolic pump right at the end of the cycle and then capitulates, it's already down from $700. Okay, and I have a technical target of 230. Now remember, I gave the short at 488. And what are we seeing with Zcash? All you had to do, look at that. It's already capitulating down to 349. There is the level I gave down from there. There's the Tribal Trades indicator. One indicator to rule them all has absolutely crushed it again and given a beautiful bearish reversal signal. Where are all those Zcash permabulls now that was telling you this was going to be the next Bitcoin and go to 20,000? No, Zcash is just doing what it always does. It does nothing for an entire cycle, pumps right at the end. That's a good top signal, and down she goes. And so I don't expect it to go immediately to 240. And of course, I do expect it to probably get all the way back down to where it came from, which would probably be below $100 and below. But that is our first target here for the Zcash there. If you took that trade, absolutely incredible. Let me take you over to the stock plays, and this is where I gave the MicroStrategy short here on the 7th of November. Look at this. $8.35. It's now almost $16. That would have been 100% if you took that play, and the rejection of $240 there. I want to give you the new play. You can still get in on this play, and here it is here. Absolutely fantastic. Any hold of $14.70 there, the 9 EMA on the 15-minute time frame, targets 16, 22, and 27 there. And of course, MicroStrategy, any loss of 169. So let's have a look at it here. MSTZ, you can see that's already playing out to the upside there on that trade. And then MicroStrategy there, we've already lost 169. I'm in this play and I'm making money as it's capitulating to the downside. That's the big short part 2. You can go back and look at the video that I did on this. I think it was a week or so ago on my YouTube channel, where I identified this big play for you. Again, I gave it in the Tribal Trades Discord at $240. I gave it here on YouTube at $199. All you had to do was take the trade, and this is printing beautifully to the downside. And again, just be careful of any bounces, potential bounces. Like I said, we've seen these little bounces on the way down. However, my eventual target here is going to be 140. And then when it hits 140, we'll see what happens, and we'll see what date that hits it. And of course, we've got the January 15th news with the potential that it seems likely, I'm leaning towards, they are going to get delisted, a further capitulation of the MicroStrategy stock, and we would see a further capitulation of Bitcoin. So in a normal bear market, we would generally see this level hold here and then bounce up. But we're seeing a bit of a black swan event take place at the moment with the fear and FUD of MicroStrategy. And of course, if there's any news that comes out that is bullish, that MicroStrategy comes out and says, no, they're not selling any Bitcoin and they don't need to, then that would probably pop the price. But I'm not sure how long they can hold on for without selling because they have dividends to pay. How are they going to pay for those dividends? I'd like to know your thoughts on the MicroStrategy and Bitcoin situation. I want to know your thoughts also on the Japan 20-year yield spiking to levels not seen for many decades here. I'll share that news tomorrow. Actually, we'll do an update on that and the SPY again tomorrow, as always. And of course, if you're looking to join the Tribal Trades Discord, today is your last chance to do so at the low lock-in all access. In fact, this is a historic day because the last time this is ever going to be offered for new signups. There is going to be somebody today who signs up for $49 per month for the very last time. Today is the final day. Already extended it from Black Friday to Cyber Monday, and Cyber Monday is the last day. If you get in today, you'll be grandfathered in for the VIP all access gold pass, $49 per month until January of 2028. After today, the price will go to $79 per month. And in 2026, we're going to $99 per month. At some point in 2026, I'll give updates on that as they are available. And so this is your last opportunity here to join the Tribal Trades Discord. You get all the channels, the Tribal Trades Signals Indicator, which I showed you how accurate that is. We've got a brand new indicator scheduled to be launched before Christmas, and then we've got new indicators on the way that includes all of those there. And there's no lock-in whatsoever. So if you don't have time or if it's not the right fit for you, but look, I just know that once you come into the Tribal Trades Discord, once you come into the Tribal Trades family, I call it, and you see the life-changing gains, you see the wealth transformational stories of people who weren't making $1,000 per day now that are making $1,000 per day, and how they did it following the Tribal Trade system. I just know that you're just not going to want to leave. And of course, how do you do that? Below, there is a link below in the description of this video. You might need to click the more button and that will pop out and you can get signed up. Now, it will still ask you that you're getting on the wait list and you still have to pay, but there's no wait. You'll get let in today. Okay, so don't fear. Some people have emailed me saying, hey, I'm on the wait list. How long do I need to wait? Usually it's just a matter of minutes, maybe a little longer than that, but you'll get let in today, and these will be the last entries tomorrow. The price will have gone up. Cyber Monday, last chance to get in there. And of course, that's all we have time for today. So until the next episode, or until I see you on the Discord, happy trading.